Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Beat C. We got a special guest with us today. We got MiniMax Boxing, one of South Florida's very own. What's up, champ?
Hey man, how you doing?
I can't complain. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Good to have you too.
Yeah. So before we get into the boxing, can you just tell people, for the people out there that don't know your channel, could you tell them about your channel?
So basically, I've been making YouTube videos for about 4.5, close to 5 years, pretty strictly about boxing news and topics and discussion, primarily predictions, reviews, and stuff like that. And I have a little over 1,000 subscribers. I usually, during the peak of boxing, upload about 3 to 4 times a week, more like once, twice, 3 times now. And yeah, I'm just trying to grow my channel and trying to get as big as I can. So that's
Yeah.
a little bit about my account.
Yeah. So everybody go over there and go subscribe to MiniMax. You know, he's like, how old are you, Mini? How old are you, Max?
14.
He's 14 and he knows he knows more about boxing than a lot of channels on here. So you know, I got mad love for Max.
Thank you.
But, Max, I wanted to I want to get your take on some topics in boxing. We'll start off with a topic that's very popular in YouTube. What did you make of the whole Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch when it took place?
I thought Fury, shocked a lot of people, including myself. I didn't expect him to actually push the pace like he did. He looked very good, and he got the job done. Wilder's excuses are kind of pathetic, simplest way to put them, and his fans' excuses are even worse, which is saying something because the suit, you wouldn't think it would get any worse than the suit, but when they started saying that stuff about the gloves, when they brought the gloves up, that's even, oh wow. So, Fury looked great. And I would pick him to beat AJ. It would be a tough fight, but I would pick him to beat AJ. And I'd pick him to beat Wilder in a third fight.
Yeah. Have you heard the newest excuse by any chance? The new one that's going around?
What's new?
They're saying that somebody from, I think, they're saying that somebody from Wilder's team or somebody from Fury's team put drugs in his water.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the new one. That's the new one.
That's terrible. And it's unfortunate what they did to Mark Breland. He was just trying to save his fighter, and he gets punished for it. So it's unfortunate, man.
It is what it is, man. When the coronavirus is over, like, are there any fights you're looking forward to more than others, like that you want to see?
So the main fights that were confirmed, that weren't like speculated, but were set to happen. The main one was Inui Casimero, and the second one wasn't as talked about as Inui Casimero, but it was one I was actually really excited for, and it was Regis Prograis versus Maurice Hooker. Those are the fights I was really excited for.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to both those fights. I was really excited. Yeah, I was gonna go. I had everything lined up to go, and the virus came.
Wow. Well, maybe you'll still be able to go.
Hopefully.
Did they refund you?
Well, I didn't buy anything. I had the money to go, but I.
Oh, okay. Good thing you didn't put any out already, because then it'd be a whole procedure.
I was planning on, COVID had other plans.
Yeah, canceled a lot of things. It's a shame. I had a cruise I was gonna go on that got canceled a week after the whole Rudy Gobert thing. So.
I never even been on a cruise, so you're doing better than me.
That was my first time. I'd never been on one either. That's what makes it sad. I was excited for it. And also the fight that I was looking forward to that was about to be confirmed, but now might even be delayed more, is Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez.
Yes, that's a very talked about fight. Who are you favoring in that one?
I'm edging Vasyl Lomachenko, but I know you're picking Teo, and I respect that because I think Teo has a very good shot of winning. But I'm going to edge Loma. I think he's just experienced. Will give him a decision. I don't see him stopping Teofimo. But Teofimo, out of all the guys at 135, I think has the best chance of beating him.
What do you see as like the biggest determining factor in that fight? Like, why do you feel Lomachenko's going to beat Teofimo Lopez?
Teofimo Lopez doesn't fight good against people that don't stay in the middle of the ring. That's one thing I noticed when I watch him. He's the best guy. Teofimo Lopez is good against are guys that aren't going to be constantly moving and have a strange rhythm. That's one thing Nakatani had a lot of success. He had a very unorthodox style. And I think Lomachenko, his movement, his speed, solid speed, his technical ability, I just think he'll edge him at 8 round to 4 type unanimous decision. But I do see Teofimo having a success, but I don't actually see him pulling it through and getting the win.
I could see that. I could see that. My argument would probably be that Nakatani is a taller, lankier fighter, so because he's more rangy, he's able to kind of command the distance from the outside a bit easier than a guy like Lomachenko would. Lomachenko could still command the distance, but I think he's gonna do it. If he's gonna do it, it's gonna happen in a different way than Nakatani.
I was predicting that fight to go the full 12 rounds. Everyone thought I was crazy because I knew Nakatani had a really good style, and personally, I would pick Nakatani to beat Richard Comey. I think he's a very underrated fighter. Nakatani doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about Nakatani before that fight. So
I know much either, but after I started to look into it, he's not a bad fighter at all.
No, I mean he went the full 12 with T.O. and gave him some good work in that fight. So
exactly.
Absolutely.
How about what's the main fight that you were looking forward to that got canceled?
Inoue Casemiro, like the I don't know if you saw, but I actually interviewed Casemiro about 2 weeks before COVID. I interviewed Casemiro because I went to Mundo Boxing Gym in Miami for the first time. I'd never been there before, and he was just there that day. He was just there, so that made me even more excited for that fight. And I was going to go to that fight, so that fight was going to be a war. We were going to get two of the hardest punchers in the division just in a firefight.
And even more, it's the unification for 3 of the 4 belts. You rarely get that, and I was excited for that.
Yeah. Another fight I was looking forward to was I'm more like a local wise was Blake Davis. I wanted to see his next card.
Oh yeah, his fight got canceled like right almost a few days before it was supposed to happen, right? It was a few days before. Wow, yeah, I remember you promoting that on your Instagram too. That's unfortunate.
I was hype as hell about it, and then all of a sudden, COVID just went ahead and messed everything up.
It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But boxing will be returning soon.
Yeah, June 9th I was hearing. June 9th and June 11th.
That's my birthday. June 9th is my birthday. So. Yeah,
there we go. Your birthday.
It's coincidence, Thank goodness. We need to follow. What are you saying? You're about to say something.
I was gonna ask you. I know you're a big Golovkin fan. I know you at one point in time you had him pound number 1. What do you want to what do you see happening for his career next? Because I don't know, his career's kind of, I don't want to say it's died, but it's calmed down a lot.
What do I see or what do I want to see?
What do you want to see as a fan of his?
If I was him, I would fight Demetrius Andrade.
Yes.
And then I would go up and fight Callum Smith and then retire. Or the alternative. Where you're going?
I think he'll beat the brakes off Callum Smith. Me
too. I think so as well. Or rematch Derevyanchenko. Set that right because a lot of people thought I don't know if you agree with me or not. I thought Triple G won it by a point. I know I might sound biased, but I was actually trying to watch as neutral as I can. I thought he squeaked it out because I was scoring on round-to-round basis and not who won throughout the fight. So personally, I thought he edged that fight, but there definitely should be a rematch. No way 115-112 is the wrong score. That's for sure. And I think there should be a rematch Derevyanchenko, set that straight, and then fight either Andrade or Callum Smith and then retire. That's how he should end his career off, in my opinion, first.
I wouldn't mind that. I thought Derevyanchenko won pretty clearly. I had him like winning 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5. Yeah, that's that I could see that for sure. Because there were a lot of swing rounds. I forgot them, but there were a lot of swing rounds I remember throughout the fight that, it could have gone either way for sure. I respect your opinion on that one.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you though. When I watched the first time, I had it wider. The first time I watched it. I was like, yo, Derevyanchenko won like 8-4 the first time I watched it. I'm like, he won 8-4.
That's still close. 115-112, but
yeah.
It was a good fight. Did you think that Canelo beat Triple G in either fight or no?
No, absolutely not.
Especially the first fight, but I thought Triple G won both fights quite clearly, to be honest.
The second fight, I thought was a bit closer, but
yeah, it was closer. It was closer for sure.
I hate talking about the Canelo Triple G because I think it was just such a bad decision for boxing.
Very bad, especially the first fight.
Now they're gonna do a third. They were talking about doing a third.
Because Triple G's washed and Canelo's still improving. We could see in every fight, Canelo's at least improving at one thing each fight. Patience against the Kovalev fight, defense against Jacobs. Went to the body against Rocky Fielding. He's like a complete package now. So, and Triple G, the first time he fought Triple G was 35. Second time, I think he was 36. So, he already fought him when he was not, the same guy as when he fought Lemieux and Macklin. I
mean, Triple G in his prime was he was a guy in his prime who barely used to lose rounds ever to anybody.
Ever.
And he was losing rounds to Steve Rolls.
Lost to Steve Rolls. I gave Steve Rolls the second round that fight, which is unfortunate.
Nah, he's out here losing. He's out here losing rounds to boxing fitness trainers.
Yeah. I thought Jacobs did better against Triple G than Canelo did in either fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just, I had that fight, I think 7-5 Triple G. I thought it was a close fight. Maybe 6-6 even.
Jacobs?
Yeah.
I had a 7-5 for Triple G.
7-5. That's what I had too, but 6-6 maybe. Triple G definitely won it, in my opinion, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. What like out of all the divisions in boxing right now, like which one's like the most exciting for you? Like which one do you enjoy the most right now?
That's difficult because it's changed for multiple years. Like 2-3 years ago, it used to be cruiserweight when Usyk, Lowacki, Garcia, none of them fought each other yet. And Bradis, Durticos, you know the whole.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a point recently where it was 175 before Vosdick and Beterbiev fought, but after Beterbiev beat Vosdick, there's only really him and Bivol and a few solid fighters on the side. So if I had to say one, it's welterweight's always been probably the most talented division, but it's not the most exciting because no one ever fights each other at welterweight. So I don't know, man. I really don't know the exact one. If I had to pick one, I guess I would give it to light heavyweight, but I'm not sure because that's very close. All the divisions, you know, have talent. Probably 135 to be honest, because that's the most intriguing. Because they have a bunch of undefeated fighters at 135. You know, they have the prospects who talk on Twitter that we all want to see lose. Hopefully, they fight each other. You know.
I know you don't like Ryan Garcia because my boy we have a mutual friend. You know Johnny.
Johnny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told me he talks to you. He said you don't like Ryan Garcia.
It's not that I hate him or anything. Like I have this strong disliking to him. His fans, first of all, are very annoying. Like I'm in 8th grade, and somehow kids in my school know who Ryan Garcia is. And they're like, "You see Ryan Garcia? He's that good boxer." And I get so annoyed, bro, because he's terrible. Tank Davis would knock him out, and I'm not a fan of Tank, but I think Tank would knock Ryan Garcia out if they fought right now.
It's just flat out. He's sparking him out. He's folding him up.
I think it would take maybe 7-8 rounds, but yeah, because I think Ryan Garcia will, you know, start off, you know, all flashy, the combos, but, you know, Tank will start to, you know, see it, that it's nothing special. His power's overrated and eventually take him out.
When was the first time you had one of these kids at school talk to you about Ryan Garcia? Do you remember? It
was probably after his fight against Romero Duno.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, though, that's the fighter that they know. Canelo, they know, too, but I don't make a big deal about Canelo because Canelo's a great fighter. But when they talk about Ryan Garcia, I have to set them straight and say the guy in the ring with him that other time when it was Devin Haney would beat him. Because people were like, who's that guy in the ring? And I would say Devin Haney. He would beat Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. Do you think Devin Haney would win, or who you got in that fight?
I'd probably favor Ryan Garcia, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard for me to really say because neither one of them have fought anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Like of all the, because you know, from 126 all the way up to like 135, you got a lot of like the young American fighters, like, you know, Shakur Stevenson, Jalil B-Hop, some guys, Rolly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those two right there, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, they're like the two most unproven to me. Like they're getting the most hype and they've proven the least.
Exactly. But I do think Devin Haney, I see, you know, a lot of potential in him. He has fought better fighters than Ryan, which is for sure, even though neither of them have fought anyone. Because he did fight Burgos. You remember Burgos, the guy that went the full 12 rounds with Mikey Garcia a few years ago?
Yeah.
Burgos was in the same fighter. How old was Burgos, you said?
Was it Juan Carlos Burgos or something like that?
Yeah. Juan Carlos Burgos. And even though he wasn't the same fighter, you know, it was a good little test. And after that, he fought Menard, no one cared about. Moran, that was a good win because Moran gave Pedraza a good fight. But aside from that, you know, he hasn't fought anyone. And Ryan Garcia, you know, Fonseca, I expected Fonseca to show heart, but look at the size difference. Ryan Garcia is so much bigger than Fonseca.
Yeah. It's getting ridiculous. And then, like, I don't know, man. I call a spade a spade. Like, he's with Eddie Reynoso and Canelo's team now, so I always have these suspicions that he might be on something. You never know these days.
Yeah, of course. And I was going to say, who's your favorite prospect in boxing right now?
Right now, I'd probably say I don't know if you could call him a prospect, but I would say Filip Hrgovic.
Oh, Filip Hrgovic?
I love Filip Hrgovic.
He's still a prospect.
Because he's ranked in most sanctioning bodies, so I don't know if that qualifies a guy as a prospect, but
I would say one more solid win would put him to contender because there's no chance of him fighting Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua next. So I still kind of consider him. a
Yeah.
prospect. I don't see him going in with a lion next. For me, I know you might disagree with this. Off of resume, obviously not, but off of skill, the two guys I'm looking at are Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz.
Oh no, I love Jaron Ennis. I love Jaron Ennis.
Me too.
I was gonna say if not Perkovic, I'd probably say Jaron Ennis.
I like the way he fights. He just needs to work on his inside fighting, but people are overreacting a little bit because he did, eventually, he kind of pushed the guy away, kind of threw some nice shots on the inside. His defense isn't great, but, he's still young. He's only 21, 22 years old. And I would actually favor him to beat Virgil Ortiz if they fought. That's just me, but it would be a tough fight.
That's a debate that we always have on my lives. Like people always say, well, like my dad loves Virgil Ortiz, Pops loves Virgil Ortiz.
I like Virgil Ortiz.
Watch my lives. They think Virgil Ortiz is just like the salt of the earth, and I like him too. But I don't think he's a better fighter than Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis has every skill under the sun. I really think in about a year and a half's time he'll be knocking at the door of a world title.
Exactly. Yeah. I already see him giving the top guys like Crawford and Spence. I don't see him beating Crawford or Spence, but I see him giving them good fights. And I see Virgil giving them good fights too, but I think Ennis could really, test those guys, personally.
Yeah. I mean, because he has an answer for every question you ask him in the ring. He's gonna have an answer. I mean,
of course,
he can box, he can bang, southpaw, orthodox, mid range, outside, whatever you want, he's got it. Like, it's just a matter of getting better ring experience. As he gets better ring experience, he's gonna, be more seasoned as a fighter.
Great punch variety, and I love how he goes to the body. I love his body work. Body work is very underrated. His last fight, he really targeted the body, and I genuinely think it slowed his opponent down.
Yeah, against Ubov, right?
Yeah, against Ubov, yeah.
Ubov, yeah, he killed Ubov.
The guy that fought Ubov before, the prospect that beat him, Brian Sabello, he's not a bad prospect either. He looked pretty comfortable against Ubov.
Sabello is very good. Sabello's a very good prospect. I question Sabello's punching power when he progresses. He's got everything else. It's just
he got good boxing ability. Yeah, exactly. Ubov's a tough guy though. He took some big shots from Ennis, and many people thought it was a premature stoppage, but it's still his punch power. He hit him with he hit Ubov with some big shots, and Ubov was never really hurt in that fight, where it was like potentially unstopped. I also am a fan of Ali Akhmedov. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he fought at the car I saw you at in January.
No, that was that wasn't him. What's his name? The Uzbek guy.
That was the other guy. I forgot his name.
Akhmedov. Yeah.
I get him on mixed up, man.
Yeah, me too. Akhmedov fought in the Triple G undercard. He stopped the dude with like one punch in the first round. Kazakhstan. He's always with Triple G.
I vaguely remember him, but I know his name.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He has potential. He kind of fights like a Triple G a little bit, but not because they train together. But he has slightly different style.
Yeah, is he from Uzbekistan?
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan, because I know a lot of these guys that signed a match are from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, just like Israel Madrimov, who's a great fighter as well.
Oh, he's fantastic. I saw him ringside at his last fight in February. He was
at Frisco, Texas.
I was there. Frisco, yeah.
Nice. One of the last cards before boxing had to stop. I remember.
It's probably out of all the cards I've been to, it's my favorite one of all time I've ever been to.
How much better was it than the Miami card? Like a little better, a lot better, just by comparison.
10 times better.
Yeah, Miami card was good. It was a solid card, but that card had some big names: Mikey Garcia, Jesse Vargas. I can't think on top of my head, but I remember some.
Gonzalez. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, Roman Gonzalez. I remember that. That was a great. I'm so happy he won that fight. I was really rooting for him. I like Caliafai. I know I saw your video about how Caliafai made no excuses. Really respectable. I like Caliafai, but Chocolatito. You can't ever root against Chocolatito, right?
No, unless you're a hater. Like I always say, if you don't like Chocolatito, you're just not a good person.
I don't know why people dislike him. He doesn't say anything. I understand if you don't like the praise he got, even though he deserved it, in my opinion. But him as a person and come on, lose Chocolatito. What's the point of that? What's he done? He's fought everyone that we wanted to see him fight. So it's unfortunate but
a lot of it just comes from ignorance. Some people on YouTube or just boxing fans in general, they have agendas they want to push, and in order for them to fully push those agendas, he needed to lose. That's all. That's how I see it.
It stinks, man. Did you hear about Dante's Boxing Nation getting taken down?
Yeah. Listen,
Long time to hear that.
I didn't want to make a video about it because I don't want to kick the guy when he's down. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say like I was happy.
I was happy too, but the thing is, I would have rather had it be like Fanon or Carl, the barbershop conversation. He's a real clown, that guy.
BFTV Boxing. I don't know if you know BFTV Boxing.
I've heard of the name, but I don't think I know exactly.
You're not missing much. Don't go over there.
Blue Blood, any of those guys, but still, if we get one of them gone, at least that's a start. Because he was still bad. He wasn't as bad as the others, but he was bad. So
he actually has some good videos though. So I mean, I wouldn't have picked like if you give me an option of 5 like of all LDBC channels, he probably would have been like the 5th or 6th name I would have.
I probably would have picked Boxing Ego over him because Boxing Ego has gotten almost to the level of Blue Blood. He used to be neutral. I don't know what happened, but
he used to be good. Like I remember before I even had a channel, which was a while ago. I used to watch Boxing Ego. And I said, man, this guy's videos are great. And then somewhere along the line, he got crazy with it.
You know who used to be really good too? 78. He used to be really good. 78.
He did.
I don't know what happened. He shifted also.
You know what it is? I guess like when your channel reaches a certain level and you see that,
yeah,
you feel like you gotta appeal to people. And it's like I'm not gonna lie to you, I've had that problem before, but at the end of the day, you gotta get back to basics and say, look, I'm a boxing channel. I love the sport of boxing. And I can't pander to someone just to get, some chump change.
Exactly. I remember 78 used to actually give like Triple G respect and said these guys are ducking Triple G. And I don't think everyone is ducking Triple G now, but he's turned into a straight out Triple G hater. It's almost like he would like scream it to the camera. It was almost quite funny, but yeah, he really did change. But aside from the YouTube channels, any other like fights that you would want to make in boxing that you can make right now?
Any fights? I'd love to see Gaia Estrada versus Chocolatito, the rematch.
Oh yeah, that would be another war fight of the year, just like the first fight was.
Philip Hrgovic versus Dillian White.
That would be good. That would be interesting, actually, stylistically.
Yeah, because everybody's saying that Dillian White's the best heavyweight outside the champions, which I guess you could say is true because of the resume. But I'm thinking about. I'm not even gonna say a year. I'm gonna say by the end of this year. I think Hrgovic will be ready for him.
I think so too. Dillian White has. I saw Hrgovic spar Wilder. He looked very good against Wilder when they sparred. I don't remember who posted it on Instagram, but he looked very good. Wilder couldn't hit him. He was hitting Wilder for everything he threw.
Yeah. He looked like Vitaly Klitschko against Wilder.
Yeah, that style doesn't do good against Wilder. We all heard what Vlad did to Wilder in sparring. So
he was killing him.
He would have killed him for sure. What was I gonna say? Also, Dillian White has very poor balance. You see when he gets hit like on top of the temple or something, he's stumbling all over the place. His he needs to lose a little bit of weight. He gained a little too much weight in between fights for his last fight. He didn't look good at all against Marius Walk. I think Dillian White, he looked good against Rivas, but I think one of his better performances was, I don't know, maybe the second Del Boy fight. I'm not sure when he really impressed me. He never really had that performance where I was like, wow, this guy could beat, the Wilders of the world.
What about Parker, the Parker fight?
Oh, yeah, that was the performance. The Parker fight. I think I was picking Parker to win that fight. So that was impressive. So that was Dillian White's best win to date. Parker's no slouch.
No, he's not. I just wish he was a bit meaner in that ring. He's too damn nice.
Yeah, he is. You could tell. He's a nice guy outside the ring, too. You could sense it. I was picking him to beat Del Boy before the fight got canceled.
I'm not even sure about that one. Parker versus Chisora. I'm not even sure.
I had it like a majority. My prediction was like majority decision for Parker. I thought it would be a tough fight. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Yes, we got MiniMax here. Make sure y'all go subscribe to MiniMax Boxing. He's like one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. There's a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of YouTube channels, but even at 14 years old, I mean, look, I'm here. I'm 25. He's 14, and I'm having a rational conversation with him about boxing. So he's better than most people.
Thank you. My mom needed me to open up a sauce can. All right. Anyway, so the fight that I would love to see is Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. I don't know if that's the main fight you were thinking.
That's one of them. That's one of them. But I've kind of accepted that. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. So I don't even cross my mind anymore.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. And Crawford's only getting older. You know, Spence, he's still a few years younger than Crawford, so he has more time. If this fight doesn't happen until like 2022, 23, it only favors Spence, doesn't favor Crawford. So
Well, that's the plan.
exactly.
They got the Earl Spence witness protection program in full effect right now.
I'm almost having like PTSD because like Triple G was my favorite fighter. They did that to him, and Crawford's my second favorite fighter, and they're doing that to him. And Lomachenko's my third favorite fighter, and they're probably going to try to do that to him. Thank goodness, like AJ's my fourth, so I don't have to worry about anything like that for my fourth. But you know.
So how do you? Oh, you're AJ fans. Like you said earlier, you think Fury's going to be AJ, right? Or how do you see that?
Yeah, I think Fury's going to be AJ, personally.
Do you see that as a competitive fight?
I do. I think Fury will get him in the 11th round. I think he'll fight a blend of the Wilder fight and like the Klitschko fight. But you know, AJ is kind of like Dillian White with his balance. You know, he got hit in the top of the temple the whole fight. He was stumbling into Ruiz. I think the scores would be something like 96-94, 97-93 in favor of Fury, and Fury would get him late.
I can see that. I personally don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a competitive fight at all. I think Tyson Fury's gonna wash him.
Like decision or stop him early or?
I think he's gonna stop him.
What round? If you like
seventh or eighth round.
I could see it, but I rank AJ's boxing IQ higher than Wilder, so I think he'll be able to land some shots on Fury. Fury will have respect for AJ because AJ will land more consistently than Wilder, and you know I think it'll be a great fight. I think that's the fight to make because undisputed. When's the last time we had an undisputed champion, let alone undisputed heavyweight champion? We had Usyk last, but heavyweight.
1999.
Who was that? Lennox Lewis.
Lewis, yeah.
Lennox Lewis. So over 20 years. So. No, that would be great for boxing. That's the fight to make. That's the only Josh Taylor versus Ramirez are the two main fights to make right now for undisputed when it comes to belts. Who you got against Taylor versus Ramirez?
I go back and forth on one all the time, but I would say Josh Taylor.
Me too. But I could see, you know, Jose Ramirez is crafty in a way, and he lands some shots that, you know, you wouldn't expect him to land. Just like he did against Hooker, that shot he caught Hooker with that hurt him. I ain't expecting to land it. I have Taylor winning close but clear unanimous decision.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really rate Josh Taylor. I think he's one of the best fighters in boxing. That's who I think. I think Terrence Crawford will actually fight him before he fights Errol Spence. I think that's.
I would love that fight. I want Crawford to fight the winner of Taylor Ramirez. Assuming it's Taylor, since you're both picking Taylor, who do you have winning in that fight? Crawford versus Taylor.
It's a tough question. I'll go with I don't know, man. I'll go with Crawford. I think Crawford will beat him. Me
too. I think Crawford has the experience. Taylor's fought some tough guys, but you know I think Crawford's fought more tough guys. Maybe not the toughest, but he's fought a lot of solid guys like Victor Postal. A lot of people are picking Postal to beat him. I saw a lot of people in my comments picking Ndongo to beat him. There were people picking Felix Diaz to beat him, Jeff Horn to beat him. I even saw a few people saying Jose Ramirez.
Hold on. Who the hell was picking Jeff Horn to beat Terrence Crawford?
There were a few Australians in my comment section when I made the video. Well, yeah, obviously. I even saw a few people when Crawford, Jose Benavidez weigh in, were saying, "Oh, look, Crawford missed the punch. Benavidez is gonna knock him out." That was stuff.
And then they said, "Oh, well, he only lost to Benavidez because Benavidez only had one leg."
That's how Benavidez fights. The exact way he fought Crawford's the exact way he fights every opponent. He's not no mover. He's not dodging shots. That's exactly how he would have fought him if he had both legs.
Sometimes when people talk about boxing, they expose themselves for not knowing anything.
Exactly. So but it's gonna be great. I got Crawford beating Taylor. I don't think he stops Taylor. Taylor's a tough guy. That Prograis fight, he took some nice shots from Prograis and kept going. So I would think it would be a close but clear decision again. I think Crawford would dominate Jose Ramirez stylistically. I think Taylor stylistically would give him a good fight.
Yeah, because Taylor fights. He fights with angles and semicircles, and he uses a lot of movement, and he's big too. He's a big guy. He's a strong, sturdy guy. So it's gonna really take Crawford to show that extra bit of quality to bully him and get him out the ring or outpoint him. He's
a dog too. He's very tough. He's just like Crawford in that way, where he won't give up. And like you said, he's strong. But Crawford's strong too. He bullied Jeff Horn. He threw him around the ring, and Jeff Horn's a big guy. He could easily fight at 160. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. Crawford has options, to be honest, but we all want to see, of course, 147.
I love to see. I want to see Crawford and Manny if they can't get Earl.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think stylistically, Manny gives Crawford a better fight than Spence with his speed.
Absolutely.
Crawford with the speed. Like Gamboa landed some shots on him. I think that would be a tough fight for Crawford for sure.
I mean, the speed, the angles, the punching power. People can say what they want about Manny Pacquiao, but when that left hand touches you, it gets your respect. It got Floyd respect. It gets everybody.
I remember that 4th round when he caught Floyd, got him on the ropes, landed that combo. If only that fight happened their primes, man, that would have been crazy. Because I think young Pretty Boy Floyd versus Pacquiao when he was at 130 would have been a great fight. Because Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a dog when he threw punches, went for the knockouts.
Yeah, I think believe it or not, I actually think if he was Pretty Boy Floyd, the fight would have been tougher for him.
Yeah, of course, because he would have to brawl. He would get hit by some shots. Pacquiao hit hard, especially at the lower weights.
Have you ever seen the Floyd Mayweather-Paul Spadafore sparring session?
Floyd Mayweather versus Paul Spadafore?
Paul Spadafore, yeah. I
didn't see it. What happened?
Well, do you know who Paul Spadafore is?
I heard of the name. I feel like I've heard of his name. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he was the IBF lightweight champion in like the mid to late 90s when Floyd was at lightweight and they were supposed to fight each other. And there's this infamous sparring session from when Floyd was Pretty Boy and he fought Paul Spadafore, and he was a southpaw like Manny. Southpaw, uses a lot of angles, great stamina, but doesn't have the punching power because he had like 51 fights. He was like 49 1-1 with 19 knockouts. That was his record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't have the punch power, but if you watch the sparring session, the angles he was giving him and it was kind of like Manny Pacquiao-esque in some points of that sparring session. So I don't know, man. I think it would have been a more difficult fight for Floyd as Pretty Boy because he let his hands go more and he'd open himself up to take more punishment.
Exactly, definitely. That's why he switched styles because I think it was the DeMarcus Corley fight because I watched Office Hand Show Boxing. I don't know if you know what that is. He does yeah. He summed it up perfectly after the DeMarcus Corley fight where he got hit by shots he shouldn't have gotten hit by. That's when he completely changed his style, fought completely, defensive minded, and it worked for him. Even though he didn't fight some of the guys I wanted to see him fight, he had a few somewhat questionable decisions, the Castillo fight, and some people want to argue the Maidana fight. I still think it worked for him perfectly when he fought the guys. So. Yeah,
Donald Trump thought Maidana won. Yeah, remember he was tweeting in all caps, Marcos won the fight.
Oh, he really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but he watched it apparently, and he was going crazy.
Who do you think won that fight?
The first one, I thought Floyd barely won it by the skin of his teeth.
It was a tale of two halves. Maidana won most of the first 6 rounds, and Floyd won most of the last 6 rounds. So It really depends on those extra rounds. There were a few rounds where neither fighter did too much. It depends how you swung those rounds. I remember that fight. Very tough fight to score.
Yeah. Have you been watching any old school boxing while you've been on quarantine? Have you been watching any fights at all?
I've been watching highlights, but there were a few fights. I think 2 or 3 fights where I watched a full fight because I've been wanting to watch recent fights that happened that were close that I didn't watch. One of them was Saunders versus Eubank. I had that fight a draw.
I watched the fight too. I just watched that recently, like a month ago maybe.
Me too. That was about the time I saw. I had that fight a draw. How did you have it?
I thought Saunders won.
It was. Of course, I could see that because there were a lot of close rounds. But I think the commentary was very biased. They were like, Eubank knows he lost the fight. If it's that close of a fight, there's no way he knows he lost the fight.
Yo, I love the UK, but their commentary is horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like when I watched Callum Smith fight and he fought John Ryder, I'm sitting here watching John Ryder win round after round after round. And they're saying, yeah, it's close. It could be anybody's fight down the stretch. I'm like, no, it's not anybody's fight down the stretch. John Ryder's winning this fight pretty easily.
John Ryder won that fight. And the scoring was disgusting. 117, 111. How do you give Callum Smith 9 rounds? The rounds that he did when he squeaked out and there was no way it was 9. John Ryder definitely won that fight.
And then you got Tony Bellew, the company man, talking about, he's like, yeah, Callum Smith won the fight. He won the fight. And then he was saying that Canelo has to come to Liverpool to come see Callum Smith. I'm like, dude, get over yourself. Get over yourself, Tony. Callum Smith is not that big.
I like Tony Bellew, but yeah, he's a terrible competitor. As a fighter, I really like Tony Bellew.
I love Tony Bellew.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you saying that you were a fan of him. Like you made a post. So that was one of the fights. And another fight I watched, I watched this is an interesting one. The first Jose Benavidez versus Ronald Gavril fight, because I actually fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep. That was a rematch. The first fight I didn't see. What was that?
You mean David Benavidez?
What did I say?
You said Jose.
Oh, my fault. David Benavidez versus Ronald Gavril fight. And I rewatched it, and I thought David Benavidez won the fight 115-112.
I could see that. Yeah, no, I thought it was a close fight because I remember Ronald was giving him some work in that fight. I remember, you know, he didn't get Ronald out of there. That's why I was telling everybody too, because David Benavidez, he was supposed to fight Romero Angulo before the virus happened, and I said, yeah, that would have been a tough fight for him. They're like, what? No,
I think it would have been too. It would have been. I remember we saw him live against
Anthony Sims.
And we were both picking Sims to win that fight. I remember you were picking Sims, right?
I was, yeah, because I was like, you know, I was happy for Sims because I've been following him. I thought he was a bit underrated. I'm like, look, this is gonna be his breakout fight and all that stuff. And Ramirez said, nope.
The saddest thing is Anthony Sims is such a skilled fighter, but he just doesn't let his hands go at all. That's the only reason he lost the fight. He didn't let his hands go.
Some of these fighters like Anthony Sims and Adrian Broner and Montana Love and guys like that, they just focus on being pretty in the ring. They like it's a contact sport. It's a contact sport, damn it. Like you got to go in there and get dirty at times.
Yeah, this isn't. I don't know what sport to use as an example, but
this ain't tennis.
This isn't tennis. You're not sort of spinning when you hit the ball. You're trying to knock the other guy out. You're not trying to look good doing it. Speaking of tennis, I know you're a big I forgot how to pronounce the dude's name. The Serbian guy.
The best tennis player ever in the history of the game.
He is great, and I'm not a big tennis fan, so I can't tell people exactly like everything. My favorite's Nadal, but he's a beast. Your guy. Your guy's definitely better. How do you pronounce his name?
Djokovic.
He's definitely better, in my opinion, than Federer. Because I think Federer is overrated. I don't know about you, but I think he's overrated.
Federer is overrated. I'm a casual tennis fan. I probably, honestly, bro, I've only been watching tennis for like 2 years. I've been following up like 2. I'm like a casual tennis fan.
I'm more casual than you. I've been doing it less, and I don't pay that much attention to it. But once in a while, I like to turn it on, see what's going on.
I follow all the tennis Instagram pages, so that's why I know what's going on all the time with tennis. Yeah, but no. That's another reason I'm pissed off about the virus. I was supposed to go to the Miami Open, the tennis tournament.
Who's playing?
Well, all the Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, all them guys.
Wow, that's wow, man. That's terrible. But you know, it's interrupted a lot of things in all of our lives. And as a sports fan in general, even the sports that weren't going on right now, if going on, not going on, it's delayed sports. It's just made being a sports fan very difficult for this process. So, you know, things will eventually go back to the way they are. And you would think boxing would be a sport like, oh, when boxing returns, all the big fights are going to happen. Freaking Jamel Herring's not going to fight Frampton. He's fighting Aquindo in his return.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shakur Stevenson's fighting a guy I've never heard of. Jesse Magdaleno's fighting a guy I've never heard of. Teofimo Lopez and Vasyl Lomachenko might take a step-aside fight. Inu and Casemiro might take a step-aside fight. That's what I heard.
Casemiro supposedly is going to fight Joshua Greer.
I feel like, yeah, it was Casemiro or Nui I heard was going to fight Joshua Greer. One of the two.
Casemiro's in America right now. He's staying at his manager's house in Las Vegas. And Inoue in Japan, and he can't leave the country.
Yeah, he has to fight some native Japanese fighter, and I can't even think at the top of my head who he would be facing. Imagine he fought what's that dude's name? Koji Tanaka. They made like a catchweight fight.
I'd be okay with that.
I would feel bad for Tanaka. He's getting his first loss so early on.
I mean, it's to Inoue, so it's not like he'd be ashamed of it. Like, he's still a good fighter.
He's a good fighter, but who would you pick if he fought Julio Cesar Martinez?
Tanaka?
Yeah.
I'm going Tanaka. I think Martinez has a lot. As good as he is, I think he's got a lot of work to do. He's very raw still to me. Like,
he is.
He needs to calm down with that whole Gallo Estrada, Chocolatito talk. He don't want that.
I don't see him beating either of them. And I like Martinez, and you know, before their last fight, before Chocolatito Martinez's last fight, I was like, maybe Martinez could pull it off against Chocolatito. Then when I saw them fight, both of them fight, Chocolatito beats him right now. It wouldn't be like a dominant one-sided beatdown, but he beats him in my opinion.
I really think he should give Jay Harris a rematch because I thought Jay Harris towards the 7th, 8th round began to figure him out.
Yeah, if only it wasn't for that body shot that completely slowed, his whole
Yeah,
back down. So, there's some fights. I feel bad for the fighters that are trapped, that live in countries where there isn't too much fighting. They can't really travel right now. That's why, in the States, a lot of the fighters in the States are lucky right now.
very
So,
fortunate.
yeah, very. So, it'll be interesting to see how the sport does. One thing is for sure, we are losing to UFC during this whole virus because UFC is making the best fights they can right now, and we're
Oh,
intentionally trying to throw off the sport and make the worst fights that we can make right now.
yeah, and you would think there'd be that extra bit of urgency, but
It's boxing, right? It's
the
boxing.
egos of these damn promoters, they can't put them even during a global pandemic and whatnot. They don't want to put their egos to the side. They still want to try to finesse the public and con the public out of money and attention.
Yeah, I hate it, man. And out of all the promoters, I think most of us agree that Al Heyman's the worst because he is the least willing to mix it up a little bit.
You can't say that. If you say that, you're racist.
Exactly, right? I'm racist. My second favorite fighter is Terrence Crawford, but someone will go on my account and say that I don't like black fighters. So that's how it works.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, has it happened to you a lot, like on YouTube or Instagram?
Not a lot, but it has happened obviously before because you know how people are, but not as much as other channels, thankfully, because I think they see that I do give a lot of I give all fighters credit. I don't care what you look like. If you're a fighter and you're doing the right thing, I'm going to give you credit. So thankfully, I think most people picked up on that, but the occasional racist comment comes out of nowhere, especially from Mexicans, because I'm not a Canelo fan. So they all think that I don't like Mexican fighters. Which I don't understand because I'm a big Estrada fan. So
I can't. I'm probably like the #1 like Canelo hater. I can't stand Canelo. I don't like nothing.
I can't stand Canelo either, and he used to be one of my favorite fighters before the conflict.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. I don't like anything he stands for. I think he's corny. Like I make it a point to let everybody know how much I don't like Canelo every time I talk about him.
I don't like Canelo at all either, but I try to be subjective. But even being okay, whatever.
Objective.
Being objective, it's still hard to be a fan of him. His fans are extremely toxic. Oh, he beat Triple G up. What do you mean beat Triple G up? The best you can give him is like a squeak out the second fight where Triple G, he landed the bigger shots, in my opinion, won the fight. But if you want to say Canelo edged out the second fight, that's okay. But there's no way he clearly won either fight, especially the first fight. I used to be a big Canelo fan, especially after the Miguel Cotto fight. He was the first fight I ever watched was Canelo versus Shane Mosley. So okay. I always liked Canelo, but when he agreed to fight Mir Khan, it went down. Then when he started doing all this talking, it's just I just stopped liking Canelo.
Yeah, I honestly I stopped liking him when I remember it was like around actually believe it or not the Floyd fight, and it's funny because I remember everybody says, oh I used to be known as like a Floyd hater, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't a big Floyd fan because I was a Pacquiao fan as a kid. But when he got when one of the judges scored a draw for Canelo, I stopped. I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. This guy's getting all this treatment already. He hasn't done anything.
Exactly. I hate those prospects that everything goes in their favor. It's in all sports. It's all about the money, but boxing is the main sport where money is the main sport. And probably the best promoter out of all three. I don't like any of them, but if I was forced to say which one I like the most, I'd probably give it to Eddie Hearn because he's trying to make a boxing video game. He's trying to do some stuff where he'll still make the AJ fight. No, I probably like Eddie Hearn more than Bob Arum, but I'm not crazy about either of them.
I've met two of them. I've met Eddie Hearn multiple times, and I met Bob Arum once. I don't like none of them. I used to like. I'm not lying to you. There was a period of time that I did like Eddie Hearn, but I've kind of picked up on some stuff about him that kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I think it's best for me as a channel to not like any of the promoters.
Yeah, they're all shady. And if you like one promoter, if you like one promoter, you fall into the same boat the LDBC does. Because for some reason, they like a promoter that's black, but they don't like a fighter that's black that's with a white promoter. That's how it works. They like Joey Spencer more than Terrence Crawford, but even though they prefer, their race, which is strange.
They like Joey Spencer more than Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, they started to hate. I noticed they started to really dislike Andre Ward when he decided to be an ESPN commentator. And I've never been a Ward fan. I'm not sure if you have or not, but I've never really been a Ward fan.
My least favorite fighter of all time. I can't stand Andre Ward.
I don't like Andre Ward either. But, you know, as a commentator, he's all right. But I noticed the whole LDBC completely, you know, just started to hate him after he went to ESPN, which it's embarrassing because it's not even the promotional company. It's the damn TV network.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I listen. If you were to go back in my archives and just type in Andre Ward on my channel, you would see that I was probably the #1 Andre Ward critic on YouTube. But
I don't like Andre Ward either. I genuinely think if him and Floyd Mayweather fought at catchweight, Floyd would beat him. And I know a lot of people think that's crazy. I think at a catchweight, 154, 157, something like that, I think Floyd would have beaten him. That's just me.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know about that one. But what I will say is though, like people always used to say like, oh, True School Sports, you're Andre Ward hater. You don't like this fighter and that fighter, and you're racist. And I would say, well, I've probably gone to more Andre Ward and Deontay Wilder fights than you have. And I'm not rich. I'm not rich. Like I can't afford to just go to fights like that. I spend money. I'm very like what's the word?
Careful.
Careful. Yeah. Like I save my money.
Yeah, no matter how much money you have, if you have enough to go to a boxing fight and that's what you love, why not do it? If you're using it on things that you really enjoy, what's the issue? You know, unless it's not like $500,000, like a Floyd Mayweather fight.
I'll stay home.
Yeah, but you know, hopefully they bring more fights to our area because that was a very good experience. That's the first pro boxing event I've ever been to, aside from the amateur events.
Was it? Because we have small shows here all the time, but like not like not matching.
I've been wanting to go to the Hard Rock fights, but I actually haven't been.
I knew that. I thought you went to those fights. Before.
I wanted to, but you know.
Yeah, because what was it? I think it was like if the virus didn't happen, there was like a crazy run of fights here actually, like locally. Like they were gonna have like I know. 1 week they were gonna have fights down here in Miami. I don't know if you've ever heard of M&R Boxing Promotions. It's like a small company.
I heard it.
They do shows like deep in Miami, but they were gonna have a show on a Friday, and then the next day I think it was like the next Saturday was Blake's show, and then there was like 3 shows going on. I can't remember them all right now, but like.
Then Robesi Ramirez fought Miami right before the whole virus started, also in Gulfport or something. I think it was Miami or.
Oh, Mikasuki, right? Mikasuki Resort and Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that card. Dominique Francis fought on that card. I don't know if you know Dominique Francis, but
I think I do, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, he's a good local fighter. He trains out of Boca Powell, and Derek Santos is his trainer. I don't know.
Boca Powell.
Yeah.
You know, they should bring fights to the Miami Heat Arena. What's it called? I'm so tired right now. Yeah, American Airlines Arena. They should bring it to. I've been to a few Heat games because I like basketball a lot, and it's a great arena. It's really nice there. They
did it back in the day. They used to have fights all the time.
They had Dorticos fight there before. Floyd Mayweather fought once there when he was younger. I think it was against Henry Brussels.
Yeah, but Brussels or Brussels, whatever. Roy Jones Jr. fought Glenn Kelly there.
Dorticos fought there before. Rigondeaux fought there before. Because Miami is a huge Cuban population. They can make a whole Cuban card and put it there with all the top Cuban fighters in boxing. That would be really cool. I would definitely go to that.
I would go to that. I mean, yeah, man. I was that week the week that I saw you at the Matchroom card. The day before that. I think it was at the weigh-ins. I talked to one of the dudes from Matchroom, and I was lobbying. I'm like, yo, man, Anthony Joshua should fight at Marlins Park. Like, why can't Anthony Joshua come to Miami and fight at Marlins Park?
The effort's there. That's all that matters. If they hear it after a few times, they'll say maybe we could try this.
Because I was telling them, I was like, look, this is my reasoning to them. I was saying, look, because they one thing they were saying is that people in Miami don't buy tickets to like fights and stuff, and I said, okay, that might be true in some cases, but I said if the event is big enough, people will come out for it. So if you have the quote unquote heavyweight champion of the world fighting at Marlins Park, and you put the money behind him to promote the event, It'll sell. I mean, you mean to tell me all these Brits go to New York and LA? You mean to tell me that the Brits won't want to come to Miami?
I think they would love to, especially knowing that the UK is not like as pretty and it's gloomy there. Going to
Oh,
nice, beautiful
I
South
was there.
Beach.
I was there. Oh,
You there? The weather not too great.
I went in December.
Oh.
I was there for 3 weeks in December. It was depressing.
Best thing about them is their architecture, but the food isn't great. I heard. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. I heard the food.
Everybody says the architecture. Like, I was there, and I don't want to talk too bad about the UK because I didn't really see much of the UK. I was kind of like, it's a long story, but I was kind of stuck in this one little town. So, I didn't really get to see a lot of architecture, but even in the little bit of architecture I did get to see, it was good, it was cool, but it wasn't like anything I haven't seen before.
Yeah. It's not like Japan and China when it comes to like the buildings. It's not like Saudi Arabia when it comes to the architecture. It's great architecture, but it's not. There's places that have been. What was that?
Have you been to Japan?
No, I've just seen pictures.
Oh, okay, I'm about to say.
That would be a cool place to go to when this is all over. But the main place I want to go to is Italy because I have Italian roots and I love Italian food. Italian food's great.
Italian food is bomb. I used to work in an Italian restaurant. I used to make pizza.
Oh yeah, I remember you did a story time about that a while ago.
I did, yeah.
It's about how like you were changing things up and making a better life for yourself. Something.
Yes. Yeah. I was going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, pizza is my favorite. If you're ever in my area of Florida, which I would let you know privately, not in front of a bunch of people on the street. There's a few really good places I'll recommend to you for sure. Cause the area I'm in has, of course, all areas should have good pizza, but this area has some solid, pizzerias, obviously.
Absolutely.
But New York pizza. I'm from Brooklyn. That's where I was born. I didn't live there for too long. I moved when I was about 4.
What part of Brooklyn are you from?
Bensonhurst.
You from Bensonhurst?
Bensonhurst, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. One of my like really good friends from Bensonhurst.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In fact, I went to Bensonhurst in September. I was in Bensonhurst.
Yeah, I remember. I feel like I talked to you through Instagram. You posted a picture on Instagram.
I went to LMB's.
LMB's. That's the most popular. That's the popular pizzeria in Bensonhurst. And it's really good, but it's not as good as a place called Da Vinci's. I don't know if you heard of it.
I have, because I was doing some research on the pizza spots, and I was like, I mean, I went to LMB's and I really like when I went there, I was like, wow, like this place is.
It is very good. It is very good. They have the square slice that's the sauce is on top and the cheese is on the bottom.
Slices, right?
Yeah, and they have great ices there. You know ices?
Yeah. Shakes. Everything there is great. I want to go again.
When I'm going back to New York, we always make one stop there. But my dad's a real Brooklyn guy. He lived there for 40 years, so he knows. He's been in every part of Brooklyn. He's been in Bensonhurst. He's been in Bay Ridge. He's been in Flatbush, East Flatbush. Can't think of the exact parts. I think he was in Borough Park. He's been all over Brooklyn. Brooklyn's an interesting city to visit.
Yeah, I've been to most of those areas because I've gone to New York a lot over the last 4 years for boxing. So I always
great venues.
When I go there, I just walk around.
My parents met at Madison Square Garden, so great venue. Yeah, it's cool. But I was gonna say, LMB's really good. So what were we talking about? I completely lost track.
I have no idea. We went completely off topic.
We were talking about AJ and the venue in Miami.
Yeah, I was saying that I think if the venue is if the event is big enough and you promote it the right way, you're not only gonna have a lot of. I think there'll be actually. I told Frank Smith, who's like the CEO of Matchroom Boxing. It's not Eddie Hearn, it's Frank Smith, a guy named Frank Smith.
Yeah. I
told Frank Smith, I said, look, I think there'll be more Brits that come to South Florida than anywhere you've had a fight before. Because Miami, like who doesn't want to come to Miami? Like all the when I talk to people from the UK about Miami, because I always say it, I never tell them I'm from Dania Beach because they don't know what Dania Beach is. Like, I just say Miami. They're like, oh, you're from Miami? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Miami. And their brain, they just think about Vice City and the little deco like buildings and palm trees. And they love that stuff. And I'm sure if especially if you put the fight on like if AJ fought in Miami like anytime when it's cold in the UK, they're gonna have more people that come for an AJ fight than they've ever had from the UK.
What they should do is put fighters from different parts of the UK in Miami, like fighters from Manchester, fighters from Leeds, fighters from Sheffield, so they get all of the people in the UK, all different diversities there.
You know what they should do? I just figured it out. What they should do is they should have what you just said, all the fighters from all the different parts of the UK, and they should put them all against South Florida fighters.
Oh, that'd be crazy. You know, they could put Kell Brook versus Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman lives in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or like
he's at 154, but you know, that's a fight I wanted to see. I can't think of top of my head, but there's 2 fights they could make for sure, because a lot of fighters live in Miami.
Yeah. They could put like as a super undercard fight. They could put Gamaliel 5 versus Lawrence Newton.
Well, yeah, that could work out. They could put Kell Brook versus Lara, because Lara lives in Miami.
Yeah, they could do that. They could put Luis Ortiz versus Dave. No, he fought Dave Allen already. I was gonna say Dave Allen. Luis versus Dillian White.
Dillian White. Oh, that's a great fight. I think Dillian White would win that fight personally. I don't know about you.
I think he would stop him, but because Luis Ortiz at this point in his career, he's a 6-round fighter. He's faded at the 6th round.
Exactly. And Ortiz looked great against Wilder in both fights. I thought he won every round in the Wilder rematch, the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he just couldn't stay away from big right hand.
Just couldn't. You know, I think Ortiz, when he fought Jennings, would probably have beaten AJ, to be honest. That Ortiz was really good.
I thought the Ortiz that fought Jennings was the best heavyweight in the world.
Yeah, I really do. I wanted to see him fight Klitschko, because I thought that fight would have been great. Yeah,
I wonder why that never happened. Why Klitschko didn't want no smoke?
Well, I think he went for AJ instead of Ortiz. Those are the 2 fights. That was a fight. It was between. I feel like I remember being between Klitschko and AJ, or Klitschko and Ortiz, and he picked AJ.
Well, I remember 2015 Klitschko fought Jennings. He fought Jennings.
No, yeah, he fought Jennings and he fought Fury. This was for Klitschko's comeback.
Okay, you're talking about when he came back. When he was
still later. This was after he fought, Dave Allen and all of them, but still would have been a good fight.
Klitschko was totally obsessed.
Who do you think would have won between Vlad and Vitaly?
Vitaly would have folded him up.
Vitaly his chin was iron, man. He said uppercut he took against Lennox Lewis, man, and he hit really hard. I would have picked him by late stoppage.
Vitaly is one of the most underrated heavyweights of all time.
He is. There was an Instagram post that said Evander Holyfield versus Vitaly, and I see these comments people saying Evander Holyfield dominates him. Evander Holyfield stops him. No way. If he beats him, that's one thing. He does not stop Vitaly. I would pick Vitaly in that fight.
I would. I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know. That's a 250-50 fight. I'd probably lean towards.
Think about that one for a few minutes.
I'd say Vitaly. I favor Vitaly because you know what it is about Vitaly? Vitaly is one of the very few heavyweights that could fight going forwards and backwards. Most heavyweights can't fight going forwards and backwards. He can fight going forwards and backwards. He can fight with his hands down. He can fight with his hands up. He's just a very versatile heavyweight.
And he hits so hard too. His last fight against Manuel Charr, he still looked like he could beat all the top heavyweights. Because Manuel Charr was like a top contender at that time, and he dominated that fight.
Yeah. I just watched Vitaly Klitschko versus Samuel Peter the other night. I watched it 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I get his fights mixed up. How did he beat Samuel Peter?
He made him quit the stool.
Oh, he quit the stool. Yeah. Didn't he beat Orlando Solis also, or was that Vlad?
No, I think that was Vitaly.
I think how they made Vlad versus David Haye. I think if they made Vitaly versus David Haye, Vitaly would have brutalized him and knocked him out cold.
Yeah, because Vitaly. Listen, I've seen a lot of fighters in person, and I don't really get scared of anybody. I'm not fearful of any man, but Vitaly's a scary looking dude.
Yeah, he has that killer
scary looking dude.
He has that killer instinct. Vlad's almost cautious, all calculated. Vitaly, when he hurts you, he's gonna do whatever he can to knock you out.
What's weird about Vlad is I used to always hear Emanuel Stewart say in interviews that in the gym when he spars, he's a completely different fighter. A completely different fighter. But then when he gets under the lights, it just becomes the cautious Vlad where he's just
Well, he did win doing it, so you gotta, you can't hate on it too much because he did get the job done. But it would have been nice if he, really pushed it. The AJ fight was probably the most entertaining fight of his entire career. That was a great fight.
That was a signature fight, and he lost.
Yeah, he lost. That's the sad part.
it was
He
good
was
for him.
winning on my card heading into round 11. I had him up 95-93. I still remember.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. What do you think about? Because I always hear people who like Anthony Joshua. They always say that his win against Vlad was better than Fury.
No, because Fury did dethrone him. Joshua's win was more spectacular, but wasn't better. I have to wrap this up because it says a notification my phone is overheating, and I should close this app.
Okay. All right.
So I'll talk to you soon, man. Anytime you want.
I think he's done. I think MiniMax is done. All right. So if MiniMax is done, we'll wrap it up. It's your boy BT with MiniMax. His phone is overheated, but what I want you guys to do is please go subscribe to MiniMax Boxing. Go subscribe to him. Great kid. Great channel, underrated channel. He's one of South Florida's very own, just like myself. And yeah, please go subscribe to his channel. With that being said, we're going to wrap it up. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding. Until next time, take care, guys.